What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about the newest thing that's just ruining Johnny Depp's life, which is that Disney is seemingly blocking Johnny Depp's Pirates of the Caribbean return. So this comes from Screen Rant. I actually tweeted this out yesterday. If you guys don't follow me on Twitter, Podcast Now 15 is my Twitter handle. Found this. I think my wife actually sent it to me, and I was like, all right, well, I need to make a big deal about this on Twitter. So I searched up Screen Rant, found this, and it's actually interesting. This is something that, I think people were not this actual, like, the headline, but the idea of what's happening behind the scenes with Jerry Bruckheimer and Johnny Depp is kind of what people were hoping for. I would say the people that were remaining optimistic on the situation, we were all hoping that something like this could happen. Now, again, not the ending goal. So we're going to talk about what's going on in just a second. Again, as always, make sure you guys are subscribed to this channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when these videos go up. And like I said about the Twitter, Podcast Now 15, all my social media stuff is in the description below if you guys want to check it out. All right, so basically, I won't go through the entire thing. Long story short is that Jerry Bruckheimer is trying to get Johnny Depp into this next Pirates movie. Now, going through the article, again, and we've talked about this before, it doesn't seem like anybody has any clue of what's going on with that other, the bigger Pirates movie. Remember, the idea was that there were, and this is what we heard from people on the inside, is that there were two Pirates movies. There's the Margot Robbie one, which obviously that came about later, and that's a spin-off. That's not in the the timeline. I mean, it is technically in the universe of the Jack Sparrow, of Davy Jones, stuff like that, but it is a spin-off, okay? Then we have what we've been calling Pirates 6, but it could also be a Pirates reboot, maybe a soft reboot, right? That's a second one. And that one actually was happened first. That one has Ted Elliott, the original writer of, I believe, the first three. Obviously, Jerry Bruckheimer is a producer on both of them, okay? And that's the one with the Chernobyl director as well. So, and I think, or also he's writing it. However they're doing it, okay? So we have kind of two camps set out. But again, when you read these articles, I get them confused. I'm not going to lie and tell you I completely understand it, because I don't, because it is kind of confusing. But these articles do an even worse job of explaining it, because they basically think that they're the same thing, with Margot Robbie being that spin-off Pirates film, and that Jerry Bruckheimer is trying to get Johnny Depp into her movie, which is like, okay, that's fine. I don't really, honestly, the point is, I don't really need that. We've talked about that before. I think the basic premise of a spin-off film in a Pirates universe is completely cool. Now, and Margot Robbie, completely cool. Now, the fact is, if they go the whole female-centric and they push all that stuff and they ruin the franchise, well, obviously that's an issue. But the idea of having a spin-off, honestly, without even having any of the original cast, is fine. I actually don't think there's anything wrong with that. Obviously, you need to do it justice and stuff like that. But, we want him in that Pirates 6/Pirates reboot, which, remember, originally the rumors were like Karen Gillan. It would be like a female-centric movie, but it would be in the Johnny Depp, Jack Sparrow universe, and maybe he would also be in it. So the rumors have been all over the place, really, for the last, year and a half. But again, we haven't heard anything on that movie. And funny enough, I actually made a video. I pre-recorded. It's going to go up, I believe, Sunday, where we talk about what 2021 kind of could bring for Pirates, okay? But the general gist of this is that Jerry Bruckheimer is trying to get Johnny Depp to appear in one or both of these movies, okay? Even if it's just a cameo. And Disney is basically saying no, that would ruin their image as what they are. There's not much more to say to the story than that. Good news is that Jerry Bruckheimer is actively trying to get Johnny. And I guess you could say you don't believe rumors, you don't believe these kind of things. And it is fair, because, well, we do have to be fair when it comes to, and we've talked about this before, when it comes to Hollywood, when it comes to this kind of stuff, oftentimes it is just a bunch of lies, right? The stuff that's posted. And really, even like the Sun article is kind of like just a summary of all of the terrible things, like TMZ, all this stuff. They all write the same kind of really clickbaity, like, things to make your jaw drop, that I don't really know who actually cares about them anymore, right? Who actually takes them seriously. But obviously some people do, because they're still around. So, they are, these things still do happen, but I do understand that people aren't very trustworthy. They don't really trust them that much. This one seems accurate, mainly for the simple fact that it seems like something that could actually happen, right? We know Jerry Bruckheimer's been a huge, in fact, Jerry Bruckheimer said two things, one of which I don't necessarily, actually both, I don't completely agree with, but, he has his morals and he stands on them. One is that Pirates should never be a TV show, which that I actually wholly disagree with. I think that it would work as like a Disney Plus series. And in fact, I do think one day maybe he'll change his mind on that. And then number two, that there is no Pirates without Jack Sparrow. Now, he's obviously backed off that one, right? Because the Margot Robbie one, clearly. But I mean, he still does. I mean, his relationship with Johnny Depp is still very, very strong. So that's good. That is the good sign that you still have, and you have Tim Burton, right, with the Addams Family thing. So you do have people still sticking up for the guy, which is good. And again, if the UK, the high court does the appeal, or I think they have heard it, or they are allowing Johnny Depp to like bring it before them. So like it's possible things could still change. Obviously, the U.S. case, it's possible things could still change. Here's hoping, right? Because if things don't change, it's just going to get worse, right? But if things do change, maybe it could actually get a lot better, a lot faster, okay? But you do still have people like Jerry Bruckheimer on his camp. So that is the good news. The bad news is, again, this is again, like the story is what everybody's hoping for. The ending is like the dreaded thing that nobody wanted to hear. You know what I mean? Where we're all hoping that, okay, well, maybe there's some way of convincing Disney to get him back into it by whoever needs to do it. Maybe there's some way to do it. Jerry Bruckheimer would be that person, right? But then again, the end of the story is Disney says, are you serious? Like, absolutely not. Now, again, these are things that we make them pay for later. You don't buy their merchandise. You don't see their movies. You complain about it online. And by the way, like none of those things are bad things, right? You do whatever negative thing to them, as long as, by the way, you're not overstepping any lines. You're not, threats, stuff like that. Obviously, that's not cool. But we have to make a point when actually, funny enough, I forecasted this. I talked about this on Sunday's video. I did say like in 2021, when it becomes apparently clear that Johnny Depp will not be part of either of these two movies, right? Like if we get a boatload of information on these two movies in 2021, which I do think will happen, and Johnny Depp is not in it, well, now's the time. You know what I mean? Like, then we have to speak up. And we have to continue to speak up as these movies come out and afterwards, right, to be able to make a point. And I think people will. I really, really think there's something with Johnny Depp that people really, there is a big enough group that's in his camp that I think they can make a lot of companies hurt for their decision-making. So, yeah, terrible ending to the story. Hopefully, and again, if we want to remain optimistic, hopefully things can change. Hopefully Disney decides that maybe if you just do bring him in, and maybe he wins the U.S. case, and then it's like, oh, shoot, well, what do we do? Like, was the U.K. judge wrong? Was the U.S. Judge wrong? Like, who was in the right? Like, what actually happened? Maybe that happens, and then they're like, oh, well, dang it. Like, what do we actually do in that situation, right? And maybe that scenario leads them to say, all right, well, again, like he looks bad to some people. He doesn't look bad to others. We can't put him as like the lead, or we can't put him as a main character, but maybe we could put him as a cameo. But there, even that, let me say this to end the video, even putting him in a cameo role. So if he's a cameo, if he's in it for 2 minutes in the Margot Robbie one, or even 2 minutes in this whatever Pirates 6 or Pirates reboot movie, or if they're the exact same thing, which isn't the case, but again, some people actually, for whatever reason, believe it is, and are reporting on it. That's, I would say, more insulting. I mean, well, I wouldn't say it's more insulting than not having him in the movie at all. If you pretend like he just doesn't exist and nothing ever happened and like we're moving on, that is about as insulting. Or if you like make jokes, or if you make references to him, but he's not in it, or like at all, and again, you kind of pretend like he doesn't exist in the universe, that's a joke. That is the most insulting thing on planet Earth, and that will be talked about, right? The second most insulting thing would be having him do a cameo, because it's like, he did the franchise, and like you're not done with his, like many people have said, you're like, that have worked on the movies, that you are not done with this character, that there was going to be one more, that there was more, and you're going to throw him in a 2-minute cameo, and that's it. And you're going to say, all right, well, see ya. Like, thanks for the work you did for the first 5. We'll take it from here. And, well, you may come back for a cameo eventually, but I doubt it. Honestly, I doubt it. We're just going to move on without you. That's the second most insulting thing. I guess the most insulting thing would be to just forget that it ever happened, right? So let me know in the comments below, guys. What do you think? Do you think there's a possibility Jerry Bruckheimer could convince Disney? I personally don't think so, although the hearings of the cases I do think make a huge, huge difference. difference. So let me know what you guys think. Again, as always, make sure you guys are subscribed, have the bell icon turned on so you know when all these videos go up. Again, if you want to follow my Twitter, Podcast Now 15, the link for it is in the description below, or you can just go on Twitter and look me up. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, like I said, I made another Pirates video. It goes up this Sunday, so make sure to check that out. And I try to do at least one of these videos every week, okay? Thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you all on the next video.